Welcome back to... Oh, hey, Chloe. How you doing?
Welcome back to Hey Chloe, how you doing? That's an interesting name for a game.
Yeah, that's my favorite game ever.
Hang on a second.
Aww.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
You are the only
Thank you,
good
Chloe.
thing outside of the
Oh,
main
come on,
quest.
Jova. Don't be mean to her. She's just trying to be nice. Come on.
Yeah.
I wish I knew more about her.
Well, she's your own... Remember, Jova, there's nothing to know about her. She's just your personal Android guide slash tutorial character.
Oh,
So yeah, let's read bios.
biography.
Connor is a prototype named the RK-800, created by CyberLife. The initial goal is to assist human detectives in their investigations by offering them technological assistance. He is also equipped with a social module, which is specially developed to create the ideal partner, capable of integrating into any team. The Connor model includes a physical simulation software based on the analysis of elements of the crime scene. You can thus reconstruct past events by cross-checking the evidence at his disposal. It is also the first model to offer the analysis of biological evidence in real time by direct sampling and ingestion of samples. The first time a Connor model was used in real-life conditions was part of an investigation on deviants. No data has been given regarding its use by police forces in a larger scale. AKA, we're brand fucking new, as androids go.
also, small Terminator reference, cute.
You know, it's funny. They talk about how they make it so that you can literally... Oh, I'll let Pedro read this.
Kara is an X400 model marketed in 2032 by CyberLife. The X400 is designed to take care of housework and look after young children. They can speak 300 different languages, cook more than 9,000 dishes, help children with their homework, and play with them. The model is highly popular because of its ability to get along with young children. After technical difficulties on the assembly line, which should have led to her disassembly, there you go, reference to the short. The Kara was sent. Kara was sent to a store where she was quickly sold for the first time. She was then resold and changed hands several times before being purchased by a certain Todd Williams. I kind of wish we could have focused on that story, but whatever. The name Kara is thought to have been given to her by Alice, but it is quite possible that it was Kara who first whispered this name to Alice. We're not actually going to explore that possibility. We're just going to throw that off in the air into this bio and never mention it ever again. Having been damaged...
I mean, she literally has Kara on her... Oh, never mind.
Anyway, she has been damaged by Todd, and then she has been repaired.
Yeah, this is also another big problem that I have with this game. Most of the more potentially interesting plot elements are in these text bios, not in the actual game.
You know
Anyway, here's Alice.
Alice is Todd Williams' little girl, age 9. She has lived alone with her father
9.
since her mother left. She seems stable and lonely, living like a shadow in the big house where the oppressive presence of her father lurks. Sad and silent, she takes refuge in novels, which she devours.
Tired.
While holding time... Lies! Fucking lies! Moving on.
Shouldn't it be more like age 5 instead of aged 9? Sorry.
Also,
Alice Williams, age 9. Go ahead,
I'm
Joe.
curious about what you meant by lies there.
You will get to
You'll
it, Joe.
see.
You'll see.
Anyway, Marcus, model RK200.
Marcus, where are you looking at, Marcus?
Oh, wait. Let me guess. Alice is in reality a robot, and that's why Todd hates her.
Marcus is a prototype gifted by Elijah Kamsky to his friend and a celebrated painter called Manfred after Manfred lost the use of his legs. He was initially developed as part of a CyberLife secret program. There you go, Teo.
Secret program.
There you go.
There you go, Teo. The RK-200 androids are going to take away your job.
Those damn pieces of plastic.
A special relationship slowly grew between the old man and the android, blah, 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 blah. Initially only when seeing Marcus as a sophisticated yet stupid machine. Ultimately, Manfred cultivated an attachment to Marcus. We're not actually... don't you just love it when
us.
Yeah, don't you just love telling instead of showing? It's so wonderful. It really is bold and goes against conventions.
You know, guys, I've noticed a bit of a plot hole here. Notice how they constantly talk about how they manufacture these robots to act human and whatnot. Like, I mean, they pretty
That's
much
nice. His model is the one that has been shot.
Go figure.
Game. Instead of having those pointless detours where we have instead of having the Marcus subplot, which nobody likes anyway, how about you just focus on that sad backstory with the old man and the whole the Kara tech demo aftermath thing that you just mentioned text-wise.
You know, it's odd. From what I hear, Marcos was the one where they set out to make the most likable. Yet, from what I hear from most people hate his plot the most for some reason.
Well, the entire purposes of Marcus's plot is to make white males like me feel like pieces of crap. You know. That's the entire. That's the entire.
I mean, you said it. No one else.
Before anyone wants to type something
Sure,
in
I'm not
comments, just wait and see.
Sure. I'm not blaming anybody aside from David on this one.
I know. I'm just joking.
Oh, I get exactly what you mean. Basically, Marcus is Martin Luther King, but done badly.
Well, yeah, we've already established that.
That's the entire
Again,
point of
it
this
will
shit.
not become
Jova, I think that became obvious with the Old Dawn just a little while longer short that we had.
Okay. But yeah, seriously, there's a major plot hole here that's annoying me. Holy cow, these load scenes take on for a while.
Well, to be fair, it varies,
There's a
Jova.
good reason this time also.
True.
Depends on how long is the scenario and how different the choices are.
There's also the fact, Jova, that it varies depending on the chapter. If it's a short chapter that lasts like 5 minutes, then it will be a relatively short loading. If it's like a 20-minute 20-minute chapter that goes through various places like this, then it will take us. But to compensate, there is absolutely zero loading inside the chapters themselves.
But yeah, seriously, there's a major.
Take a long time to load though.
You know, there's a major plot hole with this story.
Yeah,
It's like,
personally, I think the load times are fine enough. I've seen
I'll
worse.
say more later. Go on, Jova.
the major plot hole with this is like, well, okay, from those files, we learned that these robots are purposely made to act like
this one.
Just a reminder that Hank is the best character in the game.
Well, he's Clancy Brown. I mean, even with a shit script, he's Clancy fucking Brown. Go ahead, Jova.
You know, okay, better off plot hole here. From what we've learned of those bios, let me guess, following him is your only option.
Basically.
Jova, this is a David Cage game. Do what the game wants you to do, or do nothing. Go ahead.
I mean, would it really hurt them to just give us an option to actually just stay and wait? Like,
Well-
even if we did have to...
To be fair, Jova, he's programmed to carry on the investigation. So
remember,
you can argue. Well, even if we did get that choice, story-wise, within the context of this universe, it wouldn't really make any sense for Connor to be allowed to make that choice.
yeah,
because
Connor is an obedient android right now.
Unlike the other androids, Jova, Connor is not a deviant. He's actually sticking to his programming. So, it makes sense. So it makes sense for you to be forced to carry on the investigation.
Okay, here's my point, though. Why bother even giving us the option then? Like, why not just have him automatically?
That's just typical David Cage stuff that we've had since Heavy Rain, Jova.
Exactly.
Unnecessary steps where we have. Remember, Jova. Remember in Beyond Two Souls where we're trying to serve a glass of wine to Ryan, and we have to press a button for every single step.
Not only that, but again, here's my point. It's like, well, wouldn't it have been interesting, though, to see if Connor could possibly go through the paradox of, oh, he gives me these orders, but I have higher orders, like, just to see how people would react to that.
Actually, Jova. But anyway, current crime scene. Apparently, someone has found a boomer from Left 4 Dead. Oh, wait, actually, it's a corpse.
Alright, Jova, this is basically where the game basically becomes a attorney. It's all about investigating the crime scene and searching for any evidence.
Well, we kind of already had that, but
apparently this corpse has been staying there for a long time, so...
Looks like it.
Well, yeah, true, Jova, but this is a more traditional Ace Attorney stuff, because unlike the first chapter where he was observing an android that kidnapped a little girl, here it's an actual murder scene, just like in Ace Attorney. Just like in Ace Attorney.
I wonder if it's another android, considering how the words in blood are literally "I am alive."
What do you think?
Gee, I wonder.
That's actually the reason why Connor is here. Crimes like these actually require these sort of police plus android team up. Because he specifically does it because an android... I think they said it in the first chapter that an android... it's optional conversation that basically Connor is the best option to go tackle against an android because, well, they kind of think alike.
Yeah.
Android involvement? Well, okay, to be fair, yeah.
A knife.
Investigation proper.
Tasty.
No.
So anyway, back to that point I was going to
You
make.
have to understand, Jova, that what you're doing is intuitive inducting reasoning, whereas androids only operate on logical.
Okay. Not gonna lie, Connor's snappy repartee there.
No, Jova. The best thing about
Connor's
this game,
definitely the best.
the best thing about this game is this storyline, these two characters, because Brian
Do you guys have time?
Go to 11.
Brian Deckard's deadpan delivery, because he's an android, combined with Clancy Brown's colorful delivery, let's put it like that, perfectly. It works fantastically. Okay. Again, me and Theo are still plainly convinced that David Cage didn't write this storyline. I refuse to believe, because remember when David Cage talks about sorry Theo.
One at a time, guys. One at a time.
Remember when David Cage talks about this game in his Twitter account, it's always about the Marcus subplot, the segregation, discrimination shit. He never mentions this storyline. I'm genuinely convinced.
He just mentioned something called a
almost
hashtag.
very by the way. There is some of these influenceable, mind you. There is one particular character where he feels, yeah, this is clearly written by David. But thankfully, Trova, this part of the game is very merciful and it doesn't have that much of an impact in Connor's storyline.
Okay, he does mention something.
Almost there, please, don't worry.
He does mention something called a hashtag Connor Army. I have no idea what that's about.
Fangirls.
It's because Connor is the most popular character in the game among the fan base.
Oh, so it's got nothing to do with the plot. It's literally the fact that
All right,
I guess
get ready and 3, 2, 1, go.
Look at that! Red Ice was involved.
It's because Brian Deckard, the actor who plays Connor, is very active on YouTube and social media, and they interacts with the fans a lot. So.
I mean, it really, honestly, if ever there were a character that I wouldn't mind having a spin-off from a David Cage game of all games, it's Connor and his partner here. Like,
no, this Jova is, if I was the executive producer in this game, my first tall of order was this. Okay, you know what? Fuck turning the tech demo of Kara into a game. Scrap Kara, scrap Marcus, make a whole game about these two, please.
That is
and hell, you can even reconstruct the major plotline just by using this. I mean, in a sense of through each investigation, Connor starts figuring out what may be wrong with the androids and unveils a mystery, kind of like in a noir movie fashion.
Honestly, what they could have done is do what Ace Attorney or LA Noire do and just make several different case episodes for Connor and Deckard.
Speaking of David Cage's
there you go. They came from the kitchen and the victim was stabbed multiple times.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I love Connor's retort though. It's like saying, I can do this. I'm sorry I didn't warn you. It's pretty much like him saying, yeah.
That's a bit too much.
I wonder.
He's processing.
But okay, I'm going to go back to that point I was going to make earlier. When you were going for the BIOS, I noticed there's a lot of emphasis on the fact that the makers of these robots purposely make them to be more human. So here's my point here. If humanity made these robots to act more human, why are they so indignant when they dare to act human? Like, that's what you purchased them for.
No, Jova. The point is that they programmed them to simulate human emotions to make them easy to interact with humans. As in, like, for example, let's say the AX400, for example, aka Kara's model. She's supposed to take care of children. Therefore, part of her programming is to simulate motherly affection and smiling and all that stuff. All those things that children respond well to. She doesn't actually feel anything. She's just simulating things for the purpose of making the child sympathize with more of the android and do what the android tells her. Go ahead.
To make you understand the reference, Jova, have you seen The Island, the Michael Bay movie?
No.
Basically, in that movie, there's a similar thing like this, only that in those movies they are clones, not androids. But one of they had some sort of interview, I think, at the beginning, and one of the scientists says something like, "We at least made them without a conscience or a soul, but they just, didn't even interact with each other and everything. So we decided to actually purposely make them like that." And eventually, part of the conflict is them understanding, kind of like in a Truman Show vibe, that they're part of something bigger. but don't get your hopes up because it's still a Michael Bay movie.
Wasn't the Truman Show that Jim Carrey movie?
Yes,
The Truman Show.
Yeah, the one made by the guy who eventually did In Time. But anyway, as for this, also I kind of like the music of this segment. As for this particular game, Jova, the androids, as Pedro said, are built not with proper emotion, but with the recreation of them, like an AI complex enough to replicate them on a theoretical level. People are freaking out because the androids are starting to display actual, genuine emotions, something that we're not technically supposed to be programmed to.
It's similar to...
No. I absolutely understand that. My point is this, though. We see a lot of examples where humanity are mad at androids for doing their jobs. For example, Todd gets mad at Kara for caring for the child, like she's supposed to. And, okay.
But Jova, that's because he's a raging alcoholic. Don't you know?
And drug user.
Not only that, Connor's the kind of robot that's made literally to interact with humans, and I'm sorry, that involves acting human. Okay. It doesn't mean that he feels human.
You mean?
God, I hate
It's so funny.
Okay. Here's my point. Obviously, they don't intend for the robots to feel human, but we cannot deny they built the robots to act more human, yet they get mad at the robots for acting human. It's not so much the feelings, but it's literally for what they were made to do that they get mad at them for it. It's like if you got mad at your game for entertaining you. That's what it's supposed to do. What did you think you were doing buying a game if you didn't want it to entertain you?
So apparently the deviant guess what? The owner of his android was another abusive asshole who apparently beaten him, and the android went deviant and stabbed him in return.
Jova, here's the... Go ahead, Dwebs.
Yeah, I was going to say, on the subject of the whole, androids are people too... Or replace.
I'm sorry, Liz. I have to bring this up. Android sex officially better.
Sorry, lady, but plastic can't be beat.
Basically, because these sex-made these androids were made specifically for purposes of sex because they can go on forever and they never have headaches and all that stuff. And
how does that even work?
Honestly, I'm actually inclined to believe this. There are so many fictional stories that have this kind of type of plot where androids are also built for sex and people are more enjoying it and as a result, the human race. Is not having an increased birth rate. Hell, even Nier Automata has a throwaway line that basically implies that.
Okay. Anyway, I guess how that would work for some people, but in terms of having sex,
is your android spying on you?
How do you even?
Is your android spying? Hey, Dwips, is your android spying on you? Person of interest.
Anyway.
No. Even better, guys. Xbox One Connect. It's always watching you.
Go ahead.
Anyway, as I was saying, in terms of the whole, do things that look like humanoids but aren't really actually basically living people stuff. Honestly, I was watching. Even freaking Red Dwarf fell victim to that. Yes, a freaking sci-fi comedy fell victim to that trope. Basically, the plot of that was that they land on a planet that's populated by waxwork droids, but they've broken their programming and now they're all at war with each other. To the point where one of the main characters, who might have had his programming damaged, command a bunch of random androids who consist of Elvis Presley, Gandhi, and Einstein, and a bunch of others, to war against waxworks of Hitler and all that stuff. The only thing is, though, one of the other main characters does the whole, but they've broken their programming, they're practically people thing, and it's really ham-fisted. I get it's a comedy, but
Anyway, to showcase how Hank is badass, he actually has figured out already what happened, and he's just testing Connor to understand if he's managed to reconstruct everything.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
You were saying, Pedro?
It's two things, Jova. One, they're trying to do the whole, okay, so it's not emotions, but it's simulating emotions. But is there actually a difference? I mean, if you can simulate emotions, isn't that just as good as having emotions?
Which goes to my point. Why is humanity getting mad at the robots for what they built them for? Huh, they actually make it so that... Well,
yeah, you can actually screw up.
Yeah.
That's...
Wait, you're screwing up on purpose, Pedro?
No. Well, that's the thing. I don't even remember what was my thought process doing this.
I guess you can technically brute force your way through and you'll eventually get it right anyway, so...
Yeah, you can.
Might as well.
That too, but if you screw up too many times, Enku will say basically just fuck this shit, I'm out.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, you will.
Okay.
There's also the fact, Jova, that remember,
Really?
to answer your question about what the humans are doing, Jova, remember, this is David Cage. His way of telling stories is this. You're supposed to feel sorry for the androids. In order for that to be accomplished, he makes every single human being in this game, aside from Ankh, a completely soulless piece of garbage that is incapable of feeling empathy.
Which is ironic, because Hank starts off seeming like he'll be like that sort of stuff, but he actually opens up.
Well, but that's the thing, Joe. But you're actually supposed to care for Hank. You know, that's the. But literally every other human being, especially Gary, who we're gonna meet later, is a complete evil piece of garbage. Like, it's just like in Beyond Two Souls, Joe. Everybody aside from Jodie is evil. Even Willem Dafoe's character became evil at the end. Like, it's just.
That was terrible, because he was literally one of the co-protagonists that they advertised.
Like I've said,
The last one made insane.
Like I've said before, Jova, it's the most prototypical examples of lazy writing. How do I make people root for my main character? Simple, make everybody else evil.
Hey, David, why don't you actually do some research on how these revolutions actually start for
But Monsieur Jova, I actually researched for 2 years, and I'm not kidding there, everybody. Folk, check his Twitter. On May 2nd of 2019, I think.
2019, yeah.
Yeah, 2019.
No way, it could have been 2009.
All right, I'm just checking real quick to make sure it's the right.
Oh my God! Speaking of Twitter, Avatar 2 got
May
delayed
2nd.
again.
Yeah, May 2nd. It changed me forever, proving that video games didn't. Basically, everybody. In May 2nd of 2019, David Cage said that he spent 2 years researching history to understand how revolutions happen, and yet he somehow still gets this shit wrong, as we're gonna see later. Just keep that in mind.
Following the traces of Blue Blood, we can actually track down where the Android May went, and apparently, the attic.
We've been spending this whole part in this one room, and yet this is the most fun I've had with this game.
Again, honestly, these investigation sections and the banter between... this is actually sort of important. RA9.
RA9.
And the statue
made
of clay.
You're probably wondering, Jova, what is RA9? What does it mean? What exactly is this going to? Let's just say, Jova, you're going to be horribly disappointed about where this whole RA9 shit is going to go.
Honestly, at this point, I'm expecting that at the end of this investigation, it's going to turn out that the robot who murdered him is a part of Marcus's soon-to-be revolution. And it turns out that we have to really want to turn in that android.
Honestly, it could have happened,
right,
but surprisingly no.
Yeah, surprisingly no.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
Speaking of...
Okay, I guess I can see why you guys really don't think this was written by David Cage, because if this were written by David Cage, I would bet you $100 that's what he'd do.
No, there's actually believable dialogue in this scene. That's why I refuse to believe David Cage wrote this, because David Cage is completely incapable of writing believable dialogue.
It's also a combination when it comes to Connor himself. It's also a combination of the fact that he's polite and yet he's doing all these things that seems a bit odd for an android to do, because he has to be more practical.
I think what I like best about him is he'll follow orders, but he doesn't take crap from anyone who he doesn't have to take crap from.
And yet he remains very classy about it. You will never hear him scream or anything.
Exactly. In a weird way, in some ways, him being a robot helps protect him from some of David Cage's terrible dialogue choices.
Spooky.
Speaking of David,
Well, I'll admit, this actually is one of the better bouts of Atmosphere.
The problem, sadly, Jova, if you haven't seen it, you can go watch it another time. When Shiroi actually had to handle this part, unfortunately, this part of the game, as you can see, it's a bit too dark since you're in a house with not much electricity in the middle of the night in a rainstorm. So unfortunately, it was a bit hard on her eyes.
How did it go, Shiroi?
She's burbed.
she's burped. Speaking of David Cage's Twitter, here's a
Let
tweet.
me guess. Oh, is there a jump scare awaiting us?
No.
Take a guess, Joe.
Well, I don't know, Terry. I wouldn't count this as a jump scare personally, really.
Well, the part has been kind of having this kind of bit of a tense, like with that moment where Connor flips the shower thing or the broom space.
but that was a fake out though.
True, but it's still kind of it's like the cat scare, you know.
I don't know.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
There it is.
I wouldn't count that as a jump scare, really. It's not really startling at all.
Depends.
So...
Yeah, we all know this. Speaking of David
Let me
Cage's
guess.
Twitter...
Let me guess. The red eyes turns people into abusive, terrible folk who attack robots.
Remember, like I've said before...
You're giving the game too much credit, Jova.
Like I've said before, Jova, the game never actually explains the red eyes shit. It's a drug that people take, and that's it. That's literally all they're gonna tell us. They don't go into the specific effects. They don't go into the specific ways of how it's made, like where did it come from originally. No, it's just a drug, and it doesn't really come for... You could literally take the red eyes out of the story, and very little would have to change to accommodate, really. Like, it's a pointless thing that's there just for whatever we need an excuse for why humans are assholes.
Also, so let me get this straight. So the android said he was defending himself. Okay, I get that, but why did he write, "I am alive"? Like, doesn't that kind of give a sense that this was kind of a planned murder if you leave a message like that?
My guess, Joe, it's supposed to be a metaphor for domestic abuse. That's
not to mention, Jova. No, remember, Jova. The deviant became a deviant when he was attacked that time by the owner. Therefore, he basically had an emotional rush into it. So I'm probably guessing that they wrote that in a bit of impulsivity, just to make sure that something like to prove himself that he had a conscience or something.
GQ, when you say it like that, it's almost like David Cage didn't explain the nature of deviance well enough.
Anyways,
see you for next part.
See you in the next part, everybody.
See ya.